So as we all know, the current Jon Jones situation about him sitting on top of an entire division uh, has been going on for quite some time. And now it has gained so much traction that fans have decided to create a petition for Jon Jones to be stripped of his belt. And that petition has gotten a lot of signatures. I think it's reached well over 100,000 since yesterday, which is great. It's amazing. It's cool. It shows that the fans really have a voice, and I really hope that petition is listened to because as much as people may band together to create some big petition, the UFC is still the UFC. It is a business. It is an organization. It will always have the final say. So no matter what the fans may want to do, nothing may change. So Jon Jones may very well be allowed to continue to sit on top of the division. But regardless of that, what is especially surprising is that there's another petition. There's a second petition for Dana White to step down as president of the UFC, and it's pretty funny. It's pretty funny, and at the end of the day, it is interesting because it says something unique about power with these petitions, and it's basically what I just mentioned, that as much as we as fans may want this move to be made and that move to be made, and we'll throw a tantrum about this or that or whatever, the organization is going to continue to have the final say. Fans have some influence in that, but at the end of the day, what happens is what happens. I really still do believe that the UFC is not going to have Jon Jones fight Tom. I think Cyril Gane is next up for Tom Aspinall. But I do, with that, believe that Jon Jones will be stripped because he needs to be stripped if Tom is going to fight Cyril Gane. So I guess, when Jon is stripped, the fans will have a sense of a victory here because there was this big petition and everybody will, assume that the petition is what did it. But, I think it's a matter of time before Jon gets stripped anyway, regardless of a petition. But I'm sure the fans would have wanted to see Tom fight Jon, and that just isn't going to happen, in my opinion. It doesn't look like that. Jon only fights that he knows he can win. And I think he knows he's not going to win a fight against Tom. So he's not going to fight Tom. He's just going to sit on top of the division, make a big scene until something has to happen. And him being stripped has to happen. The Dana White president step down scenario, fiasco, whatever that is, it's not going to happen. Dana White basically created the UFC. I know he didn't create it because, there was a whole transfer of ownership from one organization to the next, and a whole bunch of other fighting organizations had to band together to form one, big organization, which is now the UFC. And Dana White was there through all of that, so Dana White is not going anywhere. There's that seniority about it. But it's still pretty cool to see a general upsetness amongst the fans about Dana White and the decisions he's been making, because I just released a recent video on this channel about Alexander Volkanovski versus Yair Rodriguez 2, which is in the works. And that is just awful. It shows that the organization is not thinking about the fans at all, because no one wants to see Yair Rodriguez fight Alexander Volkanovski again. Yair does not deserve it. I don't know who is making promises to these fighters and why. Because it's just awful. It doesn't make any sense. And Yair Rodriguez himself said that Dana or Hunter or both of them promised him a title shot after beating Patricio Pitbull. So I don't know why they promised him that. I don't know what warrants that promise. And it's just another testament to how Dana White has consistently mishandled the directioning of the UFC when it comes to certain important decisions, like who fights for the title next. It seems like Dana White is making bad decision after bad decision right now in terms of matchups, and when handling big situations like the Jon Jones situation that has been going on for far too long. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Jon Jones should have been stripped months ago. And, him not being stripped poses so many questions about the validity of the executives in the UFC about how viable their decision making is, But again, the bottom line with this whole video is just to state how interesting it is about the power that the fans hold. And in my opinion, the way I see it, I don't think the fans hold a lot of power. I really don't. The petitions may be signed, videos may be made, threats may be made, but the bottom line is that the organization is going to do what's best for the organization, or what it may feel is best for the organization, regardless of what may be right or wrong. So while these petitions may be signed, while a lot of fans may be, really upset, a UFC fight card is a UFC fight card, and regardless of who fights on it, a lot of us will be watching it. Let's just all be honest about that, But yeah, it's an interesting situation going on right now, and I look forward to seeing how it all pans out in the end. But ultimately, you let me know what you think. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and turn the notifications on. I love you guys, and I'll see you all in the next. Glove knowledge.